I already know that the title of this video is going to sound like I'm an ungrateful fan, but it is a really important distinction to make because, like, rooting for a team that has championship expectations and aspirations, it sucks. Like, obviously, watching that team is awesome, but rooting for them, very distinctly different. Watching a team that is good at basketball is not the complaint here, okay? It's just saying that when your team has like expectations and your team is supposed to win, you can't enjoy it. Like they're winning and they're kicking ass and you're like, "Yeah, but this is what is supposed to happen." And it's like you literally will not enjoy it until that fourth game at the end of the series is won. And then immediately until you're in the finals and you win that fourth game of the finals, that's when you can be happy. And then after that, it's super rewarding. Imagining being a fan of a team that won a championship sounds great. I was too young in 2008 to experience the Celtics championship. I've been rooting for them pretty hard since 2016. And honestly, I just feel like expectations are like probably the hardest thing to manage in sports, especially as a fan, but also as a player, as a coach. The people on the court are just as impacted, if not more impacted, by it, the fans' expectations. And that's a rough spot to be in, to know that it's championship or bust. And that creates a miserable experience because there are plenty of teams that are championship or bust, and there is only one of them that's going to actually get the championship, and everyone else is busting. Pause. Like I stated before, but I really want to reiterate, I am not trying to sound ungrateful, and I am not trying to say that I do not enjoy watching good basketball, especially when it's my favorite team that is playing good basketball. But you're in a lose-lose situation most of the time, right? Because if you beat a team, there's all the people on Twitter that are going to be making excuses of why you won, or they're just going to say that your team is a super team and that they should win because you shouldn't be proud of them or enjoy their victory because it's what they were supposed to do. Everyone wants to root for the underdog and everyone wants to be the underdog because being the underdog is fun. Because people are rooting for you that are not just fans of your team. Everyone wants you to succeed. And also because you're playing with house money. Playing with house money, you got nothing to lose, man. It doesn't matter. You're just going out there and having fun. You're playing basketball. But when your team is supposed to win a championship, there is mainly disappointment. Like I said, probably 6 teams every year are set up to fail, and only one of them is going to walk away satisfied. And that's crazy to think about because that's 6 fan bases that are all hoping and dreaming of the same thing. And only one of those fan bases is going to be rewarded. And then they're going to act like assholes all summer. It's inevitable. It's part of the cycle of sports. And I guess the point is really just that sports are hard. Rooting for a team is hard. The only type of rooting for a team that's fun is the underdog, the team that surpasses any expectations you've ever had for them, the team that overperforms all the time. And I can say without a doubt that the Celtics, really, other than the year in 2017, the first deep playoff run that I watched every game of, when Kyrie went out right before the season was wrapping up, everyone's like, all right, Celtics are done. Hayward obviously injured at the beginning of the year. Kyrie's done. They're toast. They're not making it. Made it to game 7 of the conference finals against the greatest version of what some people say is the greatest player ever. Went toe to toe with LeBron James. LeBron ripped my heart out that game, but that was a fun playoff run, watching them do that. And I think just being the favorites in general, it's just so demoralizing anytime your team loses. Like the Celtics are the favorites this year, and they just lost to the Lakers without LeBron James or Anthony Davis. And now everyone is like, oh, they're not tough. They suck. They're the worst team ever. And they're never going to win a championship if they lose to a bum ass Lakers squad without their 2 best players. Like that doesn't happen sometimes in the NBA. You're under the like smallest of microscopes. Everything you do is judged, right? And in terms of your team. So anytime your team fails, everyone is rooting against you. And it feels like you as the fan that everyone hates you. And sometimes they do, and you can't control that. But it sucks. It just totally sucks to be like in that position where you're just no matter what, everyone wants you to fail and everyone's happy when your team does fail. So you either have everyone hate you when your team comes out and wins, or they don't deliver and then you're heartbroken that your team doesn't meet the criteria to be the championship team, you know? And also being a Boston sports fan, obviously I watched a lot of the Patriots years with Brady, so I watched that dynasty. And I definitely feel like, especially then, everyone wanted them to fail. Same thing with the Chiefs now. It's like everyone wants you to lose. But in the NBA, nobody wants any other team to win, like ever. Like I said already, the ungrateful thing and the like taking anything for granted. I don't want it to come off that way. I'm not saying that I don't appreciate watching my team win a lot of basketball games, but just like acknowledging the amount of scrutiny they get because they're the best team in basketball. And like I said, how everyone is rooting for you to fail and they will be happy when your team fails. Like that is a really, really rough experience to go through. And I don't really wish that on anyone.